Hey, this is Russell, and I work at the video store, the place that we can go to every week when it's movie night. On days like today, when the store is quiet, I get to chat to my friends about the films and the series that we're loving. All right, let's do it. Let's open up the shop.
Did you see that thing yesterday on the TV? It was ready, interesting!
Top of the morning.
Hey, Russ.
Hey guys.
How you guys doing?
All right.
Oh, it's gloomy today.
Yeah,
It is a bit gloomy today. It's a bit mizzy.
it is.
Welcome to the video store. Thank you for wandering in. Thank you for popping in to say hi and check in with us and browse the shelves.
And stand by our gas heater and get warm.
Stand by and get warm. It should be summer, but fucking
Right.
Joburg. It's weird, eh? All right. We've got ourselves a G-Force here.
Hello.
He's got himself a very husky voice today.
Yeah, it's a bit craggy today.
No, but it's nice. It's a good look. You're an editor
Yes.
and very much the producer of this podcast. We've got ourselves a Kolski Matthews,
Hardy.
who is a creative copywriter. We're not working here at the video store. And my name is Russell. I am the owner of the Bioscope, which is an independent cinema here in Johannesburg. And thank you for joining us. Last week, we couldn't put out an episode,
Yes.
and that is all my fault. The Bioscope had itself a crazy weekend, and we got off to this incredible start with one of these really big events.
Right.
We do lots of events here at the Bioscope. Often they are kind of small, more personal stuff where someone's just hiring the cinema room, and then everyone sort of bloms in the courtyard and the lobby, and everyone gets on with each other. Where
Right.
the one group leaves and the other group goes in, and everybody's happy.
Yes.
But every now and again, there's one of those events that like has decor teams.
right.
Shucks.
Tech teams,
Yeah.
and they take over, and
Okay.
that's good, and that in some ways that almost makes it a bit easier.
Yes.
But there are these days of setup and cocktail parties, and so yeah, we were celebrating 60 years of a company called Ultron,
Okay.
which is not the bad guy from
Transformers.
Yes.
Avengers.
It's a Decepticon.
Age of Ultron was with
Oh,
the U.
right.
yes. Yeah.
This is Ultron with an A.
Ultron.
Eltron. And they were lovely, and the event organizing team, Rebel Element, were really cool. So it was one of those where I thought we would be able to do a sneaky recording, but it was
Right.
like
Just too
there
much.
was just too much. So
Right.
yeah, so thanks guys, thanks for waiting.
Yes.
and here we are back again.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. We always like to kick things off with a little round of Hey Did You Guys See?
Yes.
Which is a nice little quick news chat.
Mhm.
Also for all of us to catch up on what's been happening in the last little while.
Yes.
Would someone like to kick it off, or would you want me to?
You can go first.
Hey, did you guys see there is now a final, well, not a final, but there's now a bigger trailer. We got given the teaser a little while ago, and it was mentioned on the show,
Yes.
for One Battle After Another.
Oh, yes. This
So-
is PTA's new movie.
Yeah, Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yes.
With Leonardo DiCaprio. And one of
Yes.
those, have you seen it, Cole?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so One Battle After Another
Yeah.
is the new Paul Thomas Anderson film. It's coming in September, and we've got Leonardo DiCaprio, I think, in his best type of role, where
Yes.
his back's against the wall.
Yeah, and he's kind of
shit's-
manic.
And shit's getting out of control.
Yeah.
Best displayed when he was on the yacht in Wolf of Wall Street,
Yes.
and in the depths of The Departed.
Yeah.
He's very good at doing this, but he's wearing a beanie, and he's wearing those like very iconic old people glasses.
Yes.
That you see old people drive in, because it's almost like there was a news article at one point that told old people you need these glasses so that it can also shield
Yes.
the light from the side.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
it's lovely, and what I appreciate is you can almost see. Hopefully, this is a look that will become iconic. Like
Yes.
this could be a iconic Leonardo DiCaprio look.
Yeah,
this beanie
I agree.
and these glasses. It's like kind of how Jeff Bridges has got a look from The Big Lebowski.
I was
Yeah.
about to say it looks similar.
And
Exactly.
it's got that kind of culty vibe to it. And
Yeah.
I also, just as a cinema owner, look to that month and go, cool, September's looking good.
Nice.
You know, we've got a PTA film in
Yes.
September at the bioscopes, and that just feels right. You
Right.
know? It's the
Absolutely.
same as we're seeing this Wes Anderson coming. It's at the end of
right.
May.
Wow.
The Phoenician Scheme is coming. We haven't seen any.
We haven't seen anything on it, and it's coming in May.
Yeah, end of May.
That's wild.
Shucks.
Yeah, it's still lined up. It's still dated. It's still on track. But we haven't seen any trailer, any look.
Okay.
But
See, these people are busy, hey?
yeah.
Right.
Fuck, they don't stop making movies.
Yes.
So yeah, but it's one of those like, cool, end of May is good.
Nice.
You know,
Nice,
at least
yeah.
it feels that way.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's cool to watch. It looks like you don't really get an incredible amount from this trailer.
Yeah.
Even the more extended trailer feels more like a teaser.
Yes, it does.
But I think it's going to be this complicated, nuanced.
It looks very
compounding-
satirical. It looks very funny.
Yeah, it looks fun.
It looks like a comedy.
So yeah.
Yeah. Okay, this is one that initially I think people thought may have been a April Fool's joke, but it seems like it might be real.
Okay.
Hey, did you guys see that David Fincher may be directing a follow-up to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood
Yeah, I saw
for
that.
Netflix? Yeah.
Yeah.
So apparently what happened was Brad Pitt went to Quentin Tarantino, because Quentin Tarantino has like so much like extra stuff that he's written around Once Upon a Time in Hollywood that
Yes.
has been published and hasn't been published.
Yeah, well,
It's like
there's most famously
novel,
the novel, yeah, which we'll talk about.
Which isn't a novelization of the movie, but there's all this other stuff. And Brad Pitt said, "Hey, let's take it to David Fincher and see what he can do with it."
Yeah.
Which is a bit especially interesting because Fincher is like exclusively signed with Netflix, so all his stuff goes straight to Netflix.
Oh, is he?
Yes.
That's an interesting move.
That's
to
why,
do
like,
in
all
your
of his
career.
stuff over the last few years have been Netflix movies. Like, he hasn't done anything that hasn't
That's
been.
also interesting considering that Tarantino would give it to him knowing that.
That's what I was going to say. Like, it's interesting that Tarantino would be, like, okay with that because of how much he rails against streaming.
Yeah. So there is a book,
Yes.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And it's a lovely read. I fucking loved it.
Okay.
The majority of the book is actually the fictitious story of the TV show that Leonardo DiCaprio acts in.
Yes.
So there's a scene in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood where he's got to go on set. That's the scene where he meets the little girl when they were running lines, and then he's the bad guy in this kind of western
Right.
that's being shot. The majority of this book is this western completely thought out. Like, that could be a TV show in itself. It's something out of like Yellowstone.
Right.
It's like in the Wild West, sort of Seven Samurai type, sort of raiding gangs and brothers and family. And so it's like, it's completely indulgent.
Right.
There's one part that's just Cliff Booth, which is Brad Pitt's
Pitt's,
character, loves movies. And so, like, there's this whole indulgent thing about Kira Kurosawa
Okay.
and how much he loves film, and he goes and watches movies as Cliff Booth. And I was like, this is so indulgent. It's so lovely.
Yes.
This was written for me. The plot points of the movie, like the break-in, the Sharon Tate
Right.
Manson murders, is a paragraph in this book.
Jeez.
Damn.
It's a couple of lines.
That's interesting.
But there's a lot of controversy and unknown stuff about Brad Pitt's character and his wife, and how,
Okay.
whether or not he murdered his wife,
Right.
which is alluded to in the movie, but he expands into that moment, that scene on the boat,
Okay.
because you just see a quick cut of it in the movie, but in the book there's more expanding on it. I gave it to you as a Christmas present,
You
or
did.
birthday present.
Yeah.
Have you not read it
No,
yet?
I haven't.
Okay,
It's on my bookshelf.
You'll love it, and also more background on Manson and how he
Okay.
like wanted to be a musician and
Right.
how it sort of all came to be. No, it's great. There's a lot more meat on that bone.
Yeah, because even the one that was going to be Quentin Tarantino's next movie that he's now scrapped, The Critic, was going to be about that same character. Brad Pitt's character was
Yeah,
going to be the lead
Cliff
in that
Booth.
as well. Yeah,
Yeah, interesting.
but now that's been scrapped as well. So, but yeah, I just think it's interesting. Fincher like directing stuff written by Quentin Tarantino
Yeah.
sounds good.
That sounds
Does sound
awesome.
good.
Right.
Have you got one, Kolsky?
Val Kilmer died,
Yeah.
which is super sad.
Yeah.
It was of pneumonia, I think, post his throat cancer
Yeah.
battle. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a little bit of
65. Too
yeah,
young.
dude. Too young.
Sucks.
Too young for like an incredible actor, actually. Like an iconic actor in a way, especially if you grew up in the 90s.
Yeah, exactly.
Famously, I think his South African accents, and The Saint is listed as one of the worst in cinema history.
Yes.
Did he do a South African accent in
Yeah.
The Saint? Oh, he was pretending to be a South
Yes,
African.
like in like one scene, I think.
Oh, so he could even chalk it up to like, I was acting a
Yes.
South African accent.
Yes.
I wasn't
Yeah.
trying to do it.
Yeah.
I forgot about him doing we've got a thing on the video store, the Sapphire Spotter.
Oh, yes.
Which is whenever someone is or being acting
Yeah.
as a South African. So there's a special mention there.
Yeah.
He also was in South Africa shooting Ghost in the Darkness.
Yes.
And in one of the secondhand books that I bought at a secondhand bookstore, in one of the pages was a signed photo of Val Kilmer to someone. This guy's name was Richard Brown.
Right.
All the best, Val Kilmer. And I've got it framed and
Yes.
put up on
Oh,
our
is that what that is?
lobby.
Okay.
And I tried to look at it and see whether the framer could sort of recrop it to take out this guy's name.
Oh, right.
And then I thought, you know what, fuck it.
Yeah.
If Richard Brown arrives and says, "Oh my God, this is my photo," I'll gladly give it to him.
Yes.
But until then, people will think, "Hey, Richard's somehow to do with the bioscope." But either way, here's a picture of Val Kilmer that was signed by Val Kilmer.
Fascinating.
This black and white photo of him holding a rifle in the bush. That was a good fucking movie.
I like that movie, yeah.
Ghost in the Darkness was solid.
I
Yeah.
don't think I've ever heard of that.
It's the killer lions.
Yeah, true story.
They're building the bridge.
Yeah.
And these lions have got a taste for human flesh.
Mm-hmm.
I think it might have a different name because it's not on his IMDb. Acting in it,
weird.
eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the ghost in the darkness.
The Ghost in the Darkness.
Yeah.
Other special mentions of his films. I liked his role in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang,
Oh, yeah.
where he was like a sort of weird, like queer dude.
Yes.
He's sort of like a real sassy queer.
Mm.
I thought that was quite cool. He's got that little gun. What did he call that gun?
Don't remember.
He had a name for his little
Yeah.
gun.
Top Secret's great as well.
Okay, yeah. Perrin was mentioning Top
Yeah.
Secret. I don't know anything about
It's
that
just
movie.
it's from like back in the like heyday of what's the word, spoof movies.
Okay.
It's like a World War II sort of. I think it's one of his first roles, maybe his first role.
It's like a silly spoof.
Yes.
Well, speaking of
It's
silly
really good.
spoofs, I would want to continue talking about Val Kilmer, but I've got a little. Hey, did you guys see
Yeah.
the teaser trailer for Naked Gun?
Oh yes, rebooted. No, it's not even a
Oh.
reboot. It's like a sequel.
It seems to be a sequel.
Yes.
They're honoring the fact that
Yes.
yeah. So, did you guys ever watch the Naked Gun movie?
Yeah.
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 They're like some of my favorite movies. They're
Yeah,
so
and
fucking
then-
funny.
You have Seth MacFarlane from Family Guy,
Yeah.
along with Akiva
Goldsman.
Schaefer
Oh, Schaefer, yeah.
from
Goldsman's
Lonely
producer,
Island,
Yeah.
kind of rebooting the franchise with a sequel film.
Hmm.
And I saw it coming on the distribution plans, and I just said to them, listen, this could go one of two ways. Like,
Yeah.
this could either be like really funny
Yes.
and really smart, like the Chipmunks movie, which
Yeah.
is on Disney Plus, which I think the video store can all, validate as
Yes.
being like a real sleeper hit.
Exactly.
Because it's so much more and smarter and
Yeah.
a little bit more intellectual than you think. Lonely Island is that. It's a dick joke, but it's a smart dick joke. It's a
Yeah.
dick joke with a bow tie. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a dick joke with a
With a bowler hat.
with a bowler hat and like a English lit degree. Like it knows it's funny.
Yeah.
And it knows its own silliness.
Yes.
So I was very eager to see it, and I even said to the distributor, "Let's see the trailers.
Yeah.
Let me get a sense of how this is going to be presented." This teaser trailer looks fucking stupid.
Yeah.
It looks like it's going to be a stupid movie.
Doesn't look great.
It doesn't look great.
But stupid in a funny way.
No, it doesn't land.
Maybe it
For
would have
me,
been
doesn't
funny.
land.
It maybe would have been funny like 25 years ago.
Because that's
You
the
know.
energy of that entire franchise.
Yes.
It's old, and that's why that sense of humor is
Yeah.
like it doesn't exist anymore.
But
And that's why it's
some of that Leslie Nielsen sort of humor was like really dry dad joke kind of wordplay.
Yes.
It wasn't a physical. It was
No.
physical humor, but it was.
He would go there, but
He would go there, but
I think his like signature thing is deadpan delivery of ridiculous things. That's
Yeah.
like that's what made Liam Neeson, not Liam Neeson,
Leslie Nielsen.
Leslie Nielsen. That's what made Leslie Nielsen so funny.
Yeah, so now we have Liam Neeson
Yes, as his son.
as his son, kind of continuing the legacy. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
but it's the director of Chippendale Rescue Rangers.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Is that like this comes from Lonely Island,
Right.
and that Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers movie. Sorry, I said Alvin and the Chipmunks.
No, you did say-
Did I say Chip and Dale's?
Yeah.
That was really good. That was really funny.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
That
it
was
was
really
great.
smart. And so that's why I held out a little bit of hope
Okay.
for Naked Gun,
Yeah.
but I don't quite think it's that.
hmm
Well, at least the teaser trailer doesn't give you that.
Yeah.
Perhaps more is coming.
Okay.
I have a cash up that it's not Ghost in the Darkness, it's The Ghost and the Darkness.
Yes, I thought that's what we said.
Mm-mm,
That's
no.
what I said.
Okay,
Maybe
that's
you
not
said-
what I said.
Oh,
I
okay,
got
okay.
it wrong.
I just misheard because I assumed.
The Ghost and the Darkness.
Yeah.
It should be
That's
The
right.
Ghost in the Darkness.
Oh, the tagline is "Pray for the hunters," but pray like you're being preyed on.
Yes.
It's a
Cool.
fucking good movie.
It's a pretty solid movie, yeah. But it's called The Ghost and the Darkness because that's what they named the lions.
Oh,
Yes.
that's smart.
That's cool.
Yeah. One of
Okay.
them's the ghost, one of them's
Like
the darkness.
Val Kilmer was a beautiful man, eh?
It's very handsome.
Oh, he was
but-
gorgeous.
And that movie, though, is another example of him doing a terrible accent because his
Oh, really?
character's Irish.
Hectic.
Boy.
Oh boy.
I really want to see this now.
It's good, though. It's a really good movie.
Well, we've got opportunities at the Bioscope to honor the man.
Yes.
And we've got different categories and different ways of presenting certain films. So one of which is the Video Store Presents.
Yeah.
And so I wonder what could be a cool Video Store Presents. There could also be like a classic movie Sundays, which could honor
Yeah.
him in a particular way. I don't think we're in cheesy movie night territory with any of his films. But yeah, we must chat about what could be a cool film to present. And maybe all this talk of The Ghost in the Darkness
Maybe.
could be a cool one.
Yeah.
It's a cool one to discover, I think. It sounds like an interesting one too.
Yeah.
It's not as obvious as something like Batman and Robin.
Yes. Batman Forever.
Batman
Damn it, I always
Forever.
get them confused every
Yeah,
time.
and I wanted to go to that. He only did the one Batman
Yeah,
movie,
he did Batman
and it was
Forever.
Batman Forever. And who were the other people in that? I just
So
have this.
O'Donnell was Robin.
Oh, that was Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah.
Two-Face and the Riddler.
Okay,
Yes.
that was the one that he was the
Yeah.
Batman for, the Jim Carrey one.
He was a great Bruce Wayne.
He was a good Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
There's
Stunning
supposedly like a director's cut of that movie that's much more like serious and goes like much more into like the psychology of Bruce Wayne.
Oh.
Yeah, there's supposed to be a version that's like 45 minutes longer or something that no one's ever seen.
Oh.
I just remember that scene in I don't know where they were, in a stadium where he had to reveal himself.
Oh yes,
And
at,
he actually
at a
does-
circus.
A circus.
Yes.
And he actually does reveal himself, but no one hears him because it's so
Because everyone's like
noisy.
screaming and yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you guys seen The Doors? Which
No,
was
I haven't.
him
no.
as Jim Morrison.
No.
Okay. I just wonder why we've never seen it. I've always known it exists,
Yes.
but I've just never seen it.
Yeah.
So that to me feels like it could be a good Video Store Presents because it's something that a lot of us should watch.
Yeah.
Yes.
Video Store Presents for me has always had this aura of like us want as members of the the clerks showing each other films and like watching films. Like I use it as a chance for me to actually sit in my cinema and watch movies I've never
Yes.
seen.
yes.
That was what The Straight Story was for me. That's what
Right.
that 90s Mario Brothers was for me. It's like I've always wanted to see it, and now's a chance for us to watch
Yeah.
it. And if
Yes.
anyone wants to come along, they can.
Yeah.
But maybe, I don't know, maybe Ghost in the Darkness is the Video Store Presents because I would want to rewatch it. You
Yeah.
should watch it, Cole.
Okay.
I remember watching that movie like a week before going to the Kruger Park.
Terrible.
Yeah. It's not great timing.
No. Okay, cool. Anyone got others?
I have one more.
Yeah.
I find this sort of stuff interesting. I don't know if anyone else gives a shit. Hey, did you guys see that Apple TV loses $1 billion a year? It makes a loss of $1 billion.
Interesting.
Yes.
Is this Apple TV Plus?
Yeah, this is like
specifically?
Apple. This is like their productions, like all their stuff, because
Yeah.
they lose $1 billion a year. But the thing about it is, Apple is a company that's valued at about $3.3 trillion.
Yeah.
What?
And they make a revenue, in 2024, they made a revenue of $390 billion.
Yeah.
So a loss of $1 billion is fucking nothing.
it's nothing, yeah.
That is so crazy.
Yeah,
dude.
they just do it for market share, basically, to like have that segment. And to
Yeah.
probably at some point in the future buy a studio.
Well, speaking of studios and Apple,
Yes.
Seth Rogen's new show has just started on Apple TV
Yes,
Plus.
called
I haven't
The
had a
Studio.
chance to watch it, called
Yeah.
The Studio, which looks really fun.
it looks good.
Where he takes over this kind of fictitious studio.
Yeah.
It looks really good.
Yeah.
And there's a new Guy Ritchie movie coming
Oh yes, I watched
called
the
The
trailer for
Fountain
that.
of Youth.
It looks like, you know those movies that have fake movies in them?
Yes.
It looks like one of those
Yeah,
movies. It
John
looks like a fake movie.
Krasinski goes on this kind of
It looks like a
national
Yeah.
treasure type romp.
It looks very National Treasure.
Yeah, it looks kind of interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
But it looks like, like the fake movies in Scott Pilgrim or like the fake movie trailers
like
in Tropic Thunder.
Tropic Thunder.
Yeah, it looks like one of those movies.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh my word, he's making an Aladdin too.
Oh my lord, I suppose I made a lot of money, so... Well, let's see if that actually happens.
Did you guys ever end up going to watch Snow White?
No,
No.
I'll wait for that one on
Definitely,
streaming.
yeah, I think
don't
so.
want to pay for it.
Yeah.
Apparently neither does anyone else want to pay for it.
Yeah. No, listen, I think even if it's vaguely doing okay, the media is just pummeling it down.
Yeah, I mean, it was never going to do well, to be honest, regardless of any social media backlash nonsense.
What is doing well, and perhaps we can go on to that, is we got together as a group to watch the new Jason Statham. Should we start talking
yes.
about that?
Yeah.
If we have to.
Well, let's touch on the idea of it.
Joking.
I think it's interesting. Is we get invited to a lot of these pre-release screenings, these advanced screenings, these media screenings. They're either just a bunch of press guys in a room,
Yep.
or it's a big fancy soiree. They all come in different shapes and sizes.
Yeah.
But I think we generally have the ones that we're like all pumped to go to.
Yes.
So it's like, fuck yeah, like I'm keen. This is gonna be cool.
That was Fast 10.
And then there were a couple where you're like, fuck, I don't know. You know,
Yeah.
like for me, sometimes I'm like, this isn't even going to be a movie we're going to screen at the bioscope.
Yes.
I can see from a mile away it isn't. Let's see, or maybe we'll go. But we got invited to A Working Man,
Yes.
which is the new Jason Statham. And I think all of us had the same feeling, which is like, we know exactly what kind of movie this is
Yes.
going to be. And I'm fine to go to it. Like,
Yeah, it's like
Right?
you're not going to be disappointed in a way.
Yeah.
well, it's like we know exactly what we're going to get.
Yes.
We're not expecting anything different. And you know what? It'll be just fine.
Yeah.
And of course, it was just that.
Yes.
This is from the same people as The Beekeeper.
Yeah. Which came out almost exactly a year ago, so they made this movie very quickly.
This is a poster that says the line "Human traffickers beware."
Oh, right.
or
Is that the
something.
tagline of the movie?
Something like that.
Wow.
Which is like, what? Really?
If you say so.
So he's a construction worker.
For reasons.
And the people he works for have like a family construction business, and the daughter gets swept up in a sort of seemingly random case of human trafficking.
Yes.
And his allegiance, despite having a lot at stake, like his own daughter and his own livelihood to think about, he gives it all up to kick the hornet's nest, to work his way up a human trafficking ring to save this woman, which is very noble of him.
Very noble.
He's a highly competent individual, which he was in The Beekeeper as well.
He's a man with a certain set of skills.
Exactly.
I love that. I just love these individuals that are just like, they are just perfect. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
they can fucking do anything. And you're like, if you're this capable,
Yeah.
how are you not like a more successful individual?
Yes.
Like, why are you this really poor, down on your luck construction worker?
But he's supposed to be like a poor construction worker, but he owns like 2 cars and a motorcycle and
yeah.
like what are you doing?
Halfway through the movie, another car just arrives.
Yes.
Yes.
So he
So,
has the sort of the big American truck.
Yeah.
You know, like a real Bucky on steroids kind of car. And you get the sense that at some point he slept in it. So
Nice.
you're like, okay, maybe you got this one good
Yes.
car and you're looking after it because it's your baby
Yes.
and it's actually your house.
Yes. It's a home on wheels.
But at some point halfway through the movie, when he needs to be more like
Agile.
stealthier,
Yes.
somehow a fucking like GT or like a Mustang or whatever the fuck that car
It's
is.
like a Shelby or a Dodge Viper.
Yeah.
Yeah,
whatever
it's
it
just
was.
sort of, that's his car now. And you're
Yes.
like, where the fuck did that come
Yeah.
from, bud?
And the whole reason where like going on about this,
Yeah.
right, is because one of the key plot points in the beginning of him being a down on his luck working man
Yes.
is that his son has a stepfather. There's a dead wife. The step-grandfather,
Yes.
wants to take custody of the daughter away from Jason Statham because he's
Yes.
such a dangerous person, because violence always follows him around,
Mm.
and he can't afford to defend himself in court as a father
Yes.
because he has no money.
Exactly.
And then all of a sudden he shows up with all these expensive cars.
Yeah, but also just the custody of his own daughter is hanging in the balance, and he chooses to like fuck shit up.
Yes.
Like he chooses to kick this very big hornet's nest.
Yeah.
And just the costume department shone because some of the bad guys were in these very elaborate, really ridiculous costumes
Yes.
some of the time. There was a great mention of a big fight sequence out in what looked like a barn
Yes.
where the moon was like comically large.
Yeah. It was like a Shrek moon.
And the sort of evil guy sort of wore this kind of like steampunky kind of top hat.
So
Yeah,
weird.
tonally it was a bit all over the
Yeah.
place, eh?
Someone in the costume department was like, "Don't worry, got
Yes.
this. You don't need to check in. I got this.
Yeah.
I get the brief."
So, David, what do you think of my moon, bro?
No,
Yeah.
it was silly, and of course,
Yeah.
it shot straight to number one
Yeah.
in South Africa. We had this great moment a year ago when we watched the Beekeeper, and we all laughed at how silly it was, and someone in the group was like, "Yeah, well, it's going to do really well."
Yeah.
And we were like, "What? We didn't even
South
think
African
it would."
audiences
And this
love
guy
this
was
stuff.
like, I'm not going to reveal his name, but he works in the industry, and he was
Right.
like, South Africa loves this shit." And lo and behold, it was number one.
Right. So, yeah, in the cinema, we were just all kind of sitting there feeling the exact same thing. Like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I know we were expecting this, but
Yeah.
And then the entire cinema was going absolutely boss.
Yeah.
They were
No,
like
there was
loving
that
it.
woman in front of us that was clapping at the end and like, "Yeah, boy." And we were just like, "Oh my god!"
You need to watch more action movies, lady.
Right.
But yeah,
Yeah, so for anyone that doesn't know, Graham pointed this out when we went in. It's the same team that made The Beekeeper,
Yeah,
right?
that's what I'm
Director
saying.
David Ayer
Yeah.
and Jason Statham. And I was checking out the box office mojo bit on this, and The Beekeeper made 162 million,
Okay.
and this has made 36 million.
Okay.
so far
Yeah,
in one weekend, that's not bad.
And they probably didn't cost much. They probably cost like $30-40 million.
right.
You know.
Yeah, that does make
So
sense.
that's pretty good for
Yeah.
relatively low budget films.
The only sector of people that this movie isn't for
Yeah.
are human traffickers.
Beware.
They've got
Yeah.
they've got to beware.
I found myself going, who are these people a lot in this movie? Because it just cuts to like, it seems like it was trying to be very John Wicky
Yes.
with its like little underground world of like these like weird factions of people.
Yes.
And it just cuts to like a room of all these like old Russian men. And I'm like, who are these people? How are they relevant?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's like setting up that bigger crime underworld
Yeah, but
thing.
it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, no, they're bringing it in the sequels, bro.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
Little somewhat of a Safa Spotter moment. One
yes.
of the henchmen was Koki Felko,
Yeah.
who was a South African stand-up comedian,
Yeah.
actor who went over to LA and sort of did the odd job
There you go.
and has sort of survived LA.
Yeah.
And he survives by doing movies like The Working Man.
There you
Go
go.
Cookie.
Um,
Do you want to give the context around Sylvester Stallone and Trump? That was interesting.
Oh, I forgot making that comment. Yeah, I think it's worth mentioning that Sylvester Stallone was a writer of this movie.
Yes.
And he was behind it.
Yeah.
And it's just interesting that it comes at the same time
Yeah.
that Trump has appointed some individuals
Yeah.
under a sort of special committee, right?
Yes.
What is that fucking committee? It's like a committee to sort of make American movies
Great again.
Yeah.
great again or some shit.
Something like that.
You still have...
Make movies men again.
but seriously, what was that committee?
I don't know. I think something that's very funny about this is he didn't actually like discuss it with any of them beforehand. He just made the announcement of like, these guys are on this committee that are going to save Hollywood.
Oh, here's the Variety headline.
Didn't discuss it with these people beforehand. They learned about it when he made a social media post.
Really?
Yes.
But one of those people was Sylvester Stallone.
Yes.
Yeah, so check this
And
out.
Mel Gibson.
Trump named Sylvester Stallone, Mel Gibson, and John Voight as special ambassadors to troubled Hollywood. They'll bring lost business back.
Okay.
It's just funny that all happens around the same time. That
Yes.
a movie like The Working Man then comes out.
Yes.
Why John Voight?
Because he's a Trump supporter.
Oh, it's so confusing.
Right.
But Jason Statham remains the British guy.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, but he's living in America. But he I don't think he's ever done an American accent, has he?
I think he's tried
Okay.
and not done very well.
Yeah.
I know.
But yeah, on the complete flip side of this kind of movie
Yes.
comes a much smaller, very thoughtful, local, very intentional, very beautiful film called A Kind of Madness,
Okay.
which is worth a mention. South Africa has a director called Christian Olvachen, who I've never met,
Right.
and I don't quite know what he's like. He would be an amazing person to have on the show, so
Yeah.
we should try and see what's possible in that sense. But in a world of South African cinema, he has seemed, at least to me, to be one of our few intentional, artistic, more auteur filmmakers
Right.
that are trying to get across an artistic vision. A lot of South African films tend to sort of put this, the story first, and
Yeah.
it could be this fun comedy, and a lot of, especially in the Afrikaans world, a lot of like cake net films tend to be sort of fun and
Yeah.
a little bit silly, perhaps. Or we've got these dramas, but we've got very few that are trying to sort of make a beautiful looking film, a beautiful piece of art that's
Yes.
got real sort of strong intentions to it. A film like Canary was a film he made that had Skulk Besaidenout, that touched on sort of queerness in the sort of Afrikaans army.
Right.
A lot of his work and a lot of his scenes are these very thought through scenes. Very, very, that's what I mean by when I say intentional.
Right.
It doesn't feel like he was trying his best to sort of get this movie made.
Yes.
It's like he knew the camera needed to be there. It needed to shift, it needed to move, it needed to zoom out, it needed to go in.
Okay.
Like you feel like he's confidently holding your hand. Does that make sense?
That does make sense.
A lot of South African films are people that are making it with the best intentions, but they're not a well-oiled machine.
Right.
So a lot of South African films can sometimes feel a bit clumsy in the edit or in the costumes or in the intention, or halfway through you're like, wait, who's he? But why is he doing that?
Yes.
And you sometimes get the sense that when you're not this machine that pumps out these movies, that knows how to make these movies, that's had a lot of experience making these movies, you sometimes feel that so much more was sitting in the director's head and they lost objectivity and they couldn't get it out.
Right.
And you sort of needed the writer to perhaps explain something that you couldn't quite get across
Right.
because you completely objectively are like, I don't get it, or like, I'm not feeling for this.
Okay.
And so the South African films that I think have shone are the ones that have got that like simple, beautiful core to it. Something like Material. There's certain movies that have just stuck out amongst the others that have been these strong South African movies. And I think Christian Olvachen is making this kind of stuff where it's just very thought through.
Okay.
A Kind of Madness stars Sandra Prinsloo and Ian Roberts, who are sort of like our real, heavy hitters. These are very celebrated veteran actors. And it's about their love story. It's about the fact that when they were kids, they met on this beach. I don't want to give too much away.
Okay.
There was this tragic accident. And now much later in life, Sandra Prinsloo is suffering from a dementia. She's got a medical condition where a part of her still feels like she's this kind of 16-year-old, 18-year-old girl. But they did have a life together. But now in this kind of mental institution, she's struggling with her own mental health. And she convinces Ian Roberts to break her out.
Sure.
And they go on this kind of road trip, much to the dismay of their kids. So they've obviously had this kind of life together
Yes.
where they've raised these kids, but now later in life, she's kind of slipped into this dementia. And the movie is almost this kind of road trip
Okay.
as they sort of are sort of escaping together as these kind of old toppies.
Right.
But with her kind of lucid, but not. But there's just these, it's beautifully shot. As I said, you've got the confidence of him. It feels like he's holding your hand solidly, and you're with them.
Okay.
That's cool.
And just these moments, like when you are trying to convey her mental instability and how you cut and edit and plan the camera to show she thinks she's 16, but she's
Yes.
not, but she is. But now she's seeing things,
Interesting.
and how do you show that instability?
Yes.
Oh, I love that. That reminds me of The Father with Anthony Hopkins and
Yes.
Olivia Colman. Like
Yes.
that kind of thing.
Okay.
Where
A
as
lot
a
of it's-
viewer, you are as disorientated as the character is, right?
Yeah. No, and he does that. He
Well, that's
does that.
super exciting. And you're screening it at the Bioscope?
Yeah, we are. So it starts, the weekend
Of.
ahead
Okay.
of when this episode's coming out.
Cool.
So yeah, A Kind of Madness.
Oh, yeah, we'll check it
Right.
out.
It's definitely, and it looks like it's shot on film, which also is like, why would anyone do that in 2025? You know what I mean? But
Because you can.
because you can, and also if you want your film to look a particular way.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's also got that like almost brutalist aspect ratio where it's not quite widescreen, but it's not quite
okay.
4:3, but it's an intentional way of framing,
Right.
and that's what I mean by a decision.
right.
There's a creative decision.
There's
here.
like creative certainty.
There's a certainty. Yeah, that's the best way to describe it.
Yeah, it's like directors that know what they're doing. They know what their story's about. Like that kernel that you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's when a director's holding your hand through a story and being like, this is what we're talking about. And then you watch The Working Man, you're like, what the fuck is this, dude? You know?
Well, in a way, they also know exactly what they're doing.
No, 100%, sure.
But it's just like, yeah. There's just moments where that film just gets so silly.
Yeah.
Cool. Are there any other films? I'm not sure what I can sometimes talk about.
Oh, right.
Because I get invited to
Super top secret.
Well, I get invited to these exhibitor screenings.
Yeah.
And I think what's really interesting there is that they sometimes these big studios do put what is the word for it? Like a curfew on what is the word?
An embargo.
An embargo. Which sounds so, I don't know. It sounds like we're sort of shipping tea or shipping illegal substances at the dock.
Yeah.
And that embargo kind of means that no one's allowed to say anything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I saw Sinners.
Cool. I think it looks rad.
Don't know what that one is. What's that?
Do you don't know about Sinners?
No.
We've spoken about it before. It's the Michael B. Jordan.
Oh, that's...
Yeah.
It's Ryan Coogler,
Yes.
Michael B. Jordan.
There's two characters.
Yeah, they play twins.
Yeah. It was supposed to be Michael B. Jordan and Jonathan Majors.
I heard about that, and I did tell the others at the thing. I was like,
Yes.
I don't know whether I'm talking shit here,
Yeah.
but it's cool that they're these twins, and it's cool that they look similar and that they
Yes.
play alongside each other. But yeah, set in the Deep South.
Yes.
And it's these two kind of like gangster brothers, and I don't know what I can say, but fuck. But can I just say something?
Are you
Can I say-
excited for it?
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I thought it was fucking rad.
Nice.
Oh, cool.
It's interesting.
Cool.
You know, we've each got our the things that we love in the video store.
Yeah.
For those who listen every week, I always talk about the gooeyes, which is this feeling of like,
Yes.
you know, something sort of curdles your stomach, where
Right.
you're like, it sort of touches on and it could be a 1 minute advert can do it for me. And so like at the start of A Kind of Madness, there was one or two moments where I was like, oh, I'm getting it. I'm
All
getting
right.
it.
Yes.
Ooh.
And then of course, you know, it can really sort of outpour in a movie at the end when you really want to have a good cry. Graham here in the video store loves a big swing.
Love a big swing.
And let me tell you, this is a nice big swing.
Nice.
So I would love to see whether it pays off for you.
Okay.
Because not only are you in this 1930s Deep South Black America, rich with all its kind of folklore and music and culture, but you've also got this supernatural horror that comes in. And I don't want to say specifically what it is.
Oh my
But
god.
you get the sense from the trailer. You get the sense that,
Yeah.
that there's something.
Yes.
There's an evil. There's something in the night.
Cool.
And those two together is the bold swing.
Okay.
And I'd love to see
Interesting.
whether you dig it.
Nice. I'm
Uh,
excited.
Kolsky, any other movies from your side?
No, I've just been rewatching Tarantino,
Okay.
actually. And I'm about to make my way onto Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And I'm
Okay.
about to finish the book I'm reading, so
Well, I was about to say that after watching the movie,
should I do it after I watch
you
the
should
movie?
then read the
okay,
book.
cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
No,
I'll do
just
it
because
after.
the two are completely
Mm.
separate in that sense.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Like it'll just you'll be in the mood of the movie,
Yeah.
and then the book will just give you like so much extraness.
Okay.
And also for those listening, if you do live in Joburg, pop into the Bioscopes gift shop.
Ah.
We do have copies of it.
Cool.
Like I always have copies of this book because I stand by it being fucking awesome. If you love the Bioscope, if you love that movie, if you kind of understood that movie,
Mm.
a lot of people think they know Tarantino, but they don't.
Right.
And then they
Right.
watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and they go, it was weird. It was boring. It was boring. Nothing happened.
Yeah, when I watched it last, it took me by surprise. So I'm keen to watch it again.
It's a mood. It's a vibe. It's
Right.
it's a camaraderie. It's about them as buddies. It's like it's not this big plot point of that invasion. That invasion was just like a fun coating on top, but the
Right.
cake itself was about their relationship.
Okay.
Cliff Booth and fucking
Leo.
Leonardo
Yeah.
DiCaprio's character. Okay, so what have you just finished?
I've just finished The Hateful Eight. So I'm up to Once Upon a Time in
That's
Hollywood.
cool. It plays out like a bit
Yeah.
of a stage play.
Yeah.
I would love to watch The Hateful Eight as like a small theater
Theatre
production.
production.
Yeah.
So good.
Mm.
And I'm surprised it's never happened.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
thought he was going to do that because he almost cancelled that movie because the script leaked.
Okay.
Because he's very secretive about that sort of thing. And
Yes.
somehow the script went online before the movie even went into production. So he almost scrapped it entirely
Yeah.
because he was pissed.
That movie will forever be linked to a strange and defining moment in my life.
Yeah.
We were 2/3 of the way through that movie when a dude came into the cinema and disturbed the cinema.
Oh,
This drunk dude was like looking for his wallet, and my sure, we hadn't gotten married yet. My sort of girlfriend at the time, fiance at the time, was like, "Please be quiet." Like she actually was quite like polite to the dude,
Yes.
and he said something like, "Ah, fuck off, bitch," and I was like, "No."
hey.
Hey, I got up. This other dude got up, and we pulled this guy out of the cinema. He was so drunk that we were hardly like forcing him, but we were
Yes.
like, "Come, bud, out."
Yes.
Oh, footsack, dude.
And I was like, you know what? This motherfucker's ruined my night.
Yeah.
And so when the security came, and the manager of Stir Clinical came, I said, you know what? This guy's ruined my night. Ruin his night. Like if there's a little holding cell or a little security booth in this shopping center, put him in there.
Right.
Right.
Like, just do whatever you can to kind of ruin his night because he's ruined my night. This dude then punched me in the face.
Jeez, like,
Oh, what?
He punched me in the lip. It was so wild.
my lord.
And then the Stir Clinical manager was very responsive and also kind of hit the guy back
Right.
in a very responsible way.
Right.
Like
Right.
it was a smart move on his part to like kind of restrain him. And they like got the guy away, but it was one of those like
Bizarre.
wild. I've never been in like a fight.
Oh,
You know what
yes.
I mean, with a stranger.
Yeah.
But there was this actually scary moment where like as we came out of the cinema, he was so drunk that he like actually like fell on the floor,
Oh.
and a lot of those it's like tiled floors,
Mm.
Oh, shit.
and you just get this like inkling of like you have to be so careful in these moments.
Yeah.
Like anyone like fighting outside on the street,
Mm-mm.
you got to be so careful that this person you're fighting doesn't hit their head on the floor because
Yeah.
if you fall in the wrong way, you could die.
Mm.
I mean, we were nowhere near that territory, but it was like just an inkling of like,
Right.
this is how
You've
bad
heard of this happening before, and this is
Yeah.
how quickly it can happen.
and how my whole life could have changed because of this drunk stranger in a cinema.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got vouchers and we went back and finished
Okay.
the Hateful Eight. So it'll always forever be this movie that sort of had this sort of strange moment in it.
That's interesting. I watched the extended edition that was on Netflix, but it's now been taken off Netflix, which I was a bit annoyed that I hadn't watched it when it was on Netflix. But they add like 40 minutes of extra footage and they split it into 4 episodes, basically. So, Tarantino always has the chapters.
Yeah.
So they split those chapters into 4 parts.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And it just, the pacing wasn't great. It just felt like a very slipshod extended cuts with grading continuity errors, like color consistencies.
Maybe someone thought they could do it, and then they realized no, this isn't a good product, and then they took it away. Yeah. And also the most famous story of that was the guitar.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
The Martin guitar.
Jeff Bridges.
Yeah, it's like
Jeff
that
Bridges?
moment. It's really interesting.
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
In his sort of acting moment, was swept up in this moment and smashed this guitar. But everyone was like, "Oh my god, that was the most expensive, famous antique guitar. You should never
it was
have
like
smashed
100-year-old.
Yeah, and then her reaction is genuine in the
Yes.
film, but then you see the cut immediately afterwards, and her emotion is just like completely different because they wanted to use the cut. They had to use the cut where he smashes the guitar,
There's no other
and she's
version.
going whoa, 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 and then the next shot she's like still.
Oh.
You're like, oh damn, guys, like you should have,
Yeah.
like carried on with that emotion. So it's like a lot of it is jarring.
Yes.
Like the way it's cut and edited. It's not my favorite. It's my worst Tarantino actually.
Sure.
Yeah.
Should we chat TV shows?
Sure.
Yeah.
We started The Residence. Do you know about The Residence?
No.
It was off to a very good start.
Okay.
It is on Netflix. It is a TV show.
yes.
It's a whodunit.
I saw the clip of this and the clip was amazing.
Yeah, it's I'll get into my sort of critique of it, but we are in the White House. There is a state dinner,
Okay.
and our head usher, who's played by we know him from Breaking Bad, Carlos Esposito,
Oh, of course.
is the head usher, and he's found murdered in the billiard room
Right.
upstairs.
Yes.
And so this whole show is a whodunit. Then we are introduced to a special consultant who
Okay.
is this kind of the best detective in the world kind of title. She's very charismatic. It's very cool that she's a black woman. So it's nice that we are now presented with this kind of Sherlock Holmesian character. And for the first time in what feels like ever,
It's not a white guy.
it's not a white male. She's got this kind of quirky attribute where she's like a bird watcher. She also operates in a particular way, but this whole show is this kind of lock-in
Right.
in the White House as we try and figure out who murdered this guy.
Right.
And it's with the Australian government. So
Okay.
there's all these Australian characters. Each episode seems to kind of have you allude that it could be this guy. It could be the chef.
Okay.
Okay.
Or it could be one of the waiters. Or it
Yes.
could be someone else. One or two of them drag on a little bit too long.
Okay.
So there was a point where I was getting a little bit annoyed. It could maybe be a bit tighter, but I do appreciate a nice whodunit.
Cool.
It reminds me of one film I've never watched, which is quite famously like the Agatha Christie-esque kind of film, which is Clue.
Yes, I was going to say
right.
Clue is awesome.
I've never seen that.
It's so much fun. This is like the movie adaptation of the board game.
Yes.
So you have Colonel Mustard and
Yeah.
Lady Scarlet and Tim Curry's in it.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's Wadsworth.
Yeah, he's the butler.
Yeah.
No, it's cool. And also what was fun and very cool about Clue is that they had different endings
Oh.
and different cinemas got different versions. And
Interesting.
so when the
What?
movie was released at the time, there was multiple versions out there, and you actually didn't know
right.
which version you were going to watch
Okay.
as to who was the killer,
That's fun.
just to make a fun play on it.
That's
that would
fun.
be my vote for a Video Store Presents because I'd really love to watch this.
Yeah,
It's
I'd be
quite
keen.
famous.
I'd be
Cool.
keen.
Yeah, we've got a list, guys. We must do it.
Yeah.
We've
Let's
got
just,
so
we
many
must just
lined
work
up.
our way through it. I really want to work my way through this.
Yes.
But yeah, The Residence. It's on Netflix.
Okay.
I think it's quite cool to be playing in the White House
Okay.
because it's a very interesting building. But yeah, we still go back to Tracker on Disney Plus,
Oh,
which is a
right.
great little serial detective type show. Dr. Odyssey still delivers,
All right.
which is the big Disney Plus, set on a cruise ship
Yes.
with Joshua Jackson as the medical Head. So it's this kind of medical drama meets a little bit of soap,
Right.
with the individuals. It's a little bit of everything in a good way. It's paid off for me,
Nice.
Dr. Odyssey.
Okay.
And we've been happy with that. Will Trent, there's a new season of Will Trent.
I have no idea what that is.
Will
No
Trent
idea.
is very cool. It's quite a smart cop show.
All right.
He works for what's effectively the sort of FBI within Atlanta, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation.
Right.
He's an interesting individual. He's Hispanic, but wasn't raised Hispanic. He was raised in an orphanage.
Right.
So he's got this real southern accent,
Right.
but he's
Southern drawl.
but he's Hispanic, but not Hispanic, and he sort of
Right.
that gets played with a lot. He's dyslexic, so he sort of goes about things in a different way. But no, it's smart characters. It's a combination of overarching stories that
Okay.
last more than one episode, but a lot gets resolved in each episode.
Right.
Will Trent's cool. It's
Okay.
a very it's like, how do you make that kind of show in 2025? You make it this way,
Right.
where it's just that much smarter. It's just that much more nuanced. He's got this little Chihuahua dog called Betty.
Right.
No, it's lovable. It's lovable, but it's also smart.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Will Trent
Cool.
on Disney Plus. But yeah, lekker guys.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you for a cool day. Is there anything else that's burning inside that you need to mention?
I don't think so.
I think I finished watching Adolescence.
Okay.
All right.
It's a real tragedy that's not going to win Oscars. I know it will win Emmys,
Yes.
but I'm just Stephen Graham's acting in that is world class.
Right.
It is so fucking good.
Yeah, and interestingly timed that it sort of comes after the award season. So hopefully the world remembers it when the Emmys roll around next year.
I think they will, because it was the same situation with Baby Reindeer,
Yeah.
and then it kind of did really
yes.
well this award season.
No, Adolescence is great. We've spoken about it relatively at length, but
Yeah.
I think now in its kind of aftermath, there's a lot around how they shot it. There's a lot around how they prepped for it,
I
how
need
they
to dive
intended
into
it,
that.
and all of that stuff's really great.
Okay.
Because those oneers are head scratching. You just sit there going, they're always in the shot. How did they cut?
Right.
Yeah,
You know?
for those who've missed it, it's a show where every episode is one single take.
Yeah.
And so it was this very well coordinated, very well executed scenes where, it's almost like it just celebrates the acting, really,
Right.
because these folks almost had to act it like a play, obviously.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's quite a spectacular thing that really has awakened a much bigger discussion around the world and specifically in the UK about toxic masculinity, the pressure on teens,
Right.
crimes at this young age, how violence in schools happens, and how these situations can get out of control.
Yeah,
And-
they pull no punches showing how shit the UK education system is currently with regards to students, teachers, respect. And it just looks like a mess,
yeah.
you know?
No, there's a lot of those issues.
It's
all
very,
around the world.
we need to talk about Kevin
yeah,
thematically.
yeah.
Similar situation there. Same kind of theme around parenthood.
Okay.
If your child's a monster, how do you continue being a parent? You just be a
Right.
parent, you know?
And what can you do? What
Yeah.
could you possibly be doing, or do more of, or be aware of?
Hmm.
Sure. Yeah. No, it's quite a thing.
Okay.
All right. On that note, talk to your kid.
Yeah. Have an honest conversation,
Have an
guys.
honest conversation.
Also,
Yeah.
put one of those little Wi-Fi monitoring apps on their phone so you can see what they're searching. If they're watching too much Andrew Tate, just step in there,
Yes.
you know? Just talk to some girls. Go touch some grass.
touch some grass.
Yeah.
What did our video store friend say? Instead of touch some grass, you got to touch some velvet.
All right.
Brett.
Yes,
Brett,
I
Brett.
do.
Sometimes you just got to touch some velvet. All right. Lovely. Thank you, guys.
Cool.
Thanks
Yeah.
for a lovely day.
Yes.
And yeah, we'll see you again next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be
All
here.
right, magic. All right. Our home base is thevideostore.co.za. We've got links to some previous guest episodes there. But yeah, chime in, let us know what you think about what we've spoken about. And yeah, we'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.